Welcome to the 6th Ukulinga Howard Davis Memorial Symposium, organized by the College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. This year's theme is on sustainability and innovation in agriculture. The various challenges that we're facing globally and nationally related to food security, the circular economy, trying to reduce waste and improve adaptation in agriculture is particularly central to the ongoing efforts to safeguard the well-being of people and in agriculture. My name is Dr. Symposium, and I would like to welcome everyone to this particularly exciting symposium, which brings together researchers from the university, small-scale farmers, students, and various stakeholders from different organizations. The main idea that we've had for this year's symposium is to really try and bridge the gap between research focus and what is actually applied, particularly for small-scale and even commercial farmers. The various pressures that our different systems, not just water resources, but food production systems and also socio-economic systems, require that we act urgently in a way that will see our research actually generating useful solutions. Integrating the water, energy and food nexus is quite crucial in terms of trying to alleviate all the pressures and all the issues that we are currently facing as a nation that are related to water resources, energy and waste management. Any solutions that we will be generating, any ideas that will be centered around discussions on sustainability and innovations, we really have to ensure that we can carry those forward, not just for future farmers, future researchers, future students, but also future decision makers. It is particularly crucial that we have innovative discussions, inclusive discussions, and that we can really find these wicked problems and really find solutions to these wicked problems that we're facing as a country. This will be quite an exciting symposium because it includes also farmers from various communities in and around Pietermaritzburg, but that can also be extrapolated and can be applicable to really any farmers throughout the country. In our research area in hydrology, what we try to really focus on is people-centered research that is really driven by the idea of creating solutions for humanity. Water resources is a particularly complex issue, especially in South Africa when we consider all the changes that are being wrought by climate change or increases in climate change variability. So it's particularly important that we find those links, that we bridge those gaps in a way that again doesn't leave anyone behind, in a way that really creates solutions where everyone can feel involved.
Bioresources engineering is a multidisciplinary field of engineering which normally applies the basic principles of engineering in solving problems in agriculture and environment. So to come to the undergraduate exit level module teaching, we are more interested to produce practical-oriented graduates, agricultural engineers, that will be able to identify problems out there, and that will be able to find actually a solution to the open-ended problems. So the way we approach to teaching is then to bring sustainability to the knowledge we create in our students, so that we don't restrict them to the basic principles. We give them a basic principles, but the learners are actually directed in a way that they should be able to innovate technologies. So we capitalize on the students to go think outside the box and create their own things to solve the problems they have identified with clients out there in the field of agriculture. We focus on developing technologies in areas of renewable energy. We develop technologies to increase the shelf life of agricultural commodities, and we develop machineries for processing actually food stuffs, and we develop actually machineries related to implement tillage and instruments actually used to measure power requirements out there in the field. So moreover, the most important aspect again is energy in agriculture. So energy for orchard production, energy for vegetable production, energy for any processing processes that we actually carry out to add values to agricultural commodities and also to comfort plants and animals in controlled environment. So renewable energy is then our target field that we introduce to our undergraduate students. And we have actually managed to produce and edited books that specializes in small sustainable technologies. Okay, sustainable technology, all about actually sustainable and appropriate technologies at different levels for farmers who are engaging in producing commodities for business purpose or for sustainability.
Well, of course, soil science really forms the bedrock of agriculture and the environment. So, well, degradation of soils results in loss of productivity and decline in environmental quality. So we have done quite a lot of work to try and preserve our soils and also try to improve those that are degraded. And some of these work that we have done have to do with in conservation agriculture, where we grow crops with minimum soil disturbance and the retention of crop residues, rotations, so as to improve soil organic matter, improve soil quality, and therefore soil productivity. Well, because we have got soils that have been highly degraded across South Africa, we have made efforts to try and reduce the degradation and by understanding the factors that affected soil degradation, as well as then modifying the soil. In all, what we have realized is most of the losses in agricultural lands are actually through the harvests that we make. So we harvest crops for food, and then when we feed on that, most of the waste end up in the toilet and into the sewer system or into pit latrines. So we then thought that we needed to bring back all that waste back into agriculture, so that each nutrient that would have added as fertilizer would have to do a number of cycles of work before it can then be lost to the environment. There we have recycled nutrients through reuse of urine and urine-based products. We have also produced compost from human waste. We have also realized that on farms we have got what we call eutrophication, which results in the growth of algae and macrophytes. We try to recycle, take all those nutrients that are in the macrophytes back onto agricultural land. The bottom line of what we do in soil science is to try to say nothing goes to waste. Everything has to be reused, and especially that which is organic, which can then be broken down and nutrients be retained and carbon being stored, minimizing emissions of greenhouse gases. That way it's beneficial, both from climate change mitigation as well as agricultural productivity.
If I look at the farmer support group, we work with smallholder farmers in mainly 2 districts in the province, and the CITAFs is also aligned to that in terms of farmers, but CITAFs does more research. In terms of sustainability, farmers are now facing an evolving environment. The challenges are changing all the time, particularly with climate change. So a lot of the challenge is emanating from the water side and temperature variations. So the rainfall is coming in downpours. So when you look at sustainability, you are talking about how can you remain productive under the circumstances where heavy downpours mean that there's a lot of soil loss, and we are also finding a lot of infrastructure loss. Fences are being destroyed, and shed clothes, nets are being destroyed as well. So most of the crops that used to be grown by our farmers have been now removed over time due to the previous dispensation. But now these crops, we are finding that they are becoming more adapted to the circumstances that are emerging. So you could talk about, they are called nutritious, neglected, or underutilized crops. And these crops are the ones that can bring sustainability to farmers, including the farmers also working on restoring their soil fertility, because with erosion comes the loss of soil, topsoil. Also, by managing these soils and ensuring that there's no loss, we are also mitigating the climate change itself, which in itself comes around to be a protection against their loss of livelihoods. We are also trying to see how to apply or to use some of these crops and other new crops that might not have necessarily been in the system, trying to develop new ways of processing. So we are talking about value addition, we are talking about market access, we are talking about organizing farmers so that they are able to sell these crops, and in the long term not rely on the old or current challenged systems, but evolving. So there's a lot of discussion on entrepreneurship and innovation and building businesses out of the work that smallholder farmers do.
Basically, our research focuses on 2 issues, and that is the environment and food security. And the key thing here we are looking at is problems of unsustainable agricultural practices that are causing a lot of challenges with climate change, greenhouse gases. The other thing also we are looking at population trends where people move into urban centers and the pollution that it causes. So the link is that we believe, we think, or we are looking at nutrient flows from farms to cities that are then deposited together with waste in urban settlements, causing pollution, risks to health and disease and so on.
and we are coming up with innovations and technologies to try and recover those nutrients and return them back to farms. Of course, one of the challenges is if you look at farm, the cost of inputs is very, very expensive. So one of the things is also that by returning those nutrients, we are finding innovative ways of coming up with local resilient food systems that would minimize the cost of inputs. So then the other challenge is just market access and value addition, where farmers grow crops and they don't really get good returns onto it. So to improve their livelihoods, one of the things we are doing is coming up with value addition technologies that then farmers can use inputs that are recycled and add value to their product so that they can improve their income and livelihoods. Sustainability is important because if you look at global projections, we are told, for example, that from global models, we've reached peak phosphorus levels where in the next 300 years, we're going to see a decline in phosphorus. Phosphorus is a finite mineral and is very, very key to agriculture. If you look at the way we produce industrial mineral fertilizer, the energy we use, the fossil fuels we burn, and the problems to global climate change, the changes we see in terms of erratic rainfall, prolonged drought, and so on. So sustainability is very, very important that we manage to use resources in a way that the earth, the planet becomes sustainable, and we leave an environment that also will allow future generations, our children and their children and their children also, to survive and live on this earth.